So, that Tevinter guy sent you into the future? Ugh.
That was weird.
Every time I think I understand magic, the rules change.
And you're a mage, so that's saying something.
Hey, Cassandra.
Have you met this friend of Varric's, Inquisitor?
Not yet, no.
It had better not be who I think it is. I will wring that little bastard's neck.
Oh, do you think it is?
Why? Who do you think it is?
Someone Varric claimed he could not contact. Someone the Inquisition, indeed all of Thedas, desperately needed. I'll reserve judgment until I know for certain. No need to have that rogue screaming persecution yet again.
What can you tell me about the Seekers? You
Can
were
you
part
tell
of
me
them.
more about the Seekers?
The Seekers of Truth were born from the original Inquisition long ago, when it united with the Chantry. Seekers stood above the Templars, watching over them but also investigating magical events they couldn't handle. We were meant to be incorruptible, above reproach. How seldom does reality match the ideal?
But what are they?
But what are Seekers exactly?
Those who know anything of us think we are Templars. We do not use lyrium, however. Our abilities are different, as was our original purpose. We disciplined the Templars and were accountable only to the Divine. And not even her, truthfully.
Then who watched you?
So nobody ever watched over the Seekers?
It was the Divine's duty. But she could only do so much when the truth was hidden from her. The Templars have always feared us. When a Seeker arrived at a circle, they knew trouble was afoot. That kind of power is troubling. You begin to think you are the only one who can solve the world's problems. If you don't see a problem, it doesn't exist. If someone insists it does, they are the blind ones.
Could that be fixed?
Do you think that kind of problem could ever be fixed?
Possibly. Though the Seekers themselves would need to change. They were clearly not willing to, even though they abandoned everything they stood for to avoid it. In my heart, I believe they can still be salvaged, but not by their own hands.
So why did they rebel?
Why did your order turn against the Chantry?
We originally united with the Chantry through a treaty that stated they would keep mages under control. It was felt Most Holy had tacitly allowed the Circle of Magi to vote on its independence, thus breaking the treaty. The Seekers saw themselves as justified, and they led the Templars into a war of righteousness.
You disagree?
You sound like you disagree.
We knew what was happening at Kirkwall, where the Mage Rebellion began. We looked into reports of Knight Commander Meredith's harsh treatment of her charges years earlier. But we found so many shocking cases of magical corruption, it was decided her actions were justified. If we'd been there when it happened, if we'd looked harder at the root causes...
You care deeply about it.
You seem to care a great deal about it.
Too much, if you ask the rest of my order. When faced with a problem, the Seekers would close ranks and crush it. We would find an answer, but only once we felt we weren't being coerced. The moment the mages voted for independence, our response was predictable. It was difficult to watch.
So how did you become a Seeker?
How does someone become a Seeker?
Most Seekers begin training in their youth. I was much older, an exception due to my noble birth. We train rigorously for years. Our bodies and minds must be elastic to undergo the vigil, and most fail even then.
And the vigil is?
Is the vigil some kind of initiation?
It is the rite every Seeker must go through in order to summon their gifts. A full year of fasting, prayer, and separation from all distractions, including other people. We empty ourselves of all emotion, focusing only on the purity of our devotion. And the moment it finally ends, it's wonderful. Faith realized. I cannot put it into words.
Was it magic?
Was it some kind of magic?
I don't fully understand it, to be honest. If the vigil was not so arduous, I'd say more should attempt it. What if mages never needed to fear possession by demons? I'm told it is impossible, however. I suppose I'll never know the truth of it now.
Huh. So what did you end up with
You mentioned that
ability-wise?
Seekers have different abilities than Templars.
Entirely. A Templar's abilities come from lyrium and are designed to hunt mages. Ours come from ritual and many years of dedicated training. We cannot be possessed by demons and are immune to mind control. Useful, considering our role.
Intriguing.
Seekers can gain other gifts, though that depends on the individual.
What are your gifts?
What kind of gifts do you have?
I can set the lyrium within a person's blood aflame. Both mages and Templars bend before my will. Some Seekers use it to interrogate, others simply to paralyze. Once there was a Seeker who could use it to kill. That particular gift is considered rare.
Thanks for interesting knowledge. I didn't even know that. So, I hope I'll get access to have you be able to access those abilities at some point, because I sure don't remember you having those when I last looked. Hey, Blackwall.
So, this is Skyhold.
Apparently.
Come, let's walk the ramparts. I want to examine our fortifications.
Fair enough.
We'll be able to see Corypheus coming from miles away.
And we'll be ready for him.
He's not going to get the better of us again.
We lost good soldiers that day, loyal men and women. Let him come. I swear I'll take the twister bastard down, even if I have to die to do it.
Thanks.
I'm grateful for your support.
It's my job, isn't it? Killing Darkspawn.
Yep.
Look, in spite of it all, there is hope. The people flock to your banner. They believe in you. Tell me honestly, are you what they say you are? Andraste's chosen?
As I said to everyone else, I don't know.
There's so little I remember. What if they're right?
Does it even matter?
No.
Don't you see what you are to them? Without you, they'd be consumed by despair. We all would. They need you to be Andraste's messenger. It gives them hope. The truth doesn't matter.
Yeah, that part I just don't like. It wrangles me.
Listen to me talk. Your time is valuable and I've wasted enough of it.
I wish I could be a symbol of something I had accomplished rather than something people think I might possibly vaguely have accomplished by possibly maybe being chosen by somebody who could possibly, theoretically, hypothetically, be somebody important working for some being that may or may not exist and may or may not be important or may or may not be known, who could also, hypothetically speaking, be someone entirely else with an agenda that's completely unknown. So many unknowns! Jeez! It's not what I prefer, to be honest. But that's just personal. Eric! Oh. Intriguing! Custom champion curveball. Right. It's of course completely impossible to recreate the character from memory alone. I think the reason they can't just transfer data is because there was an engine change between this and the old one. But I've done my best.
Inquisitor, meet Hawk, the champion of Kirkwall. Though I don't use that title much anymore.
Well, you earned it.
Hawk, the Inquisitor. I figured you might have some friendly advice about Corypheus. You and I did fight him after all.
Yeah, some questions about that.
You've already dropped half a mountain on the bastard. I'm sure anything I can tell you pales in comparison.
I heard stories about you.
Oh, I don't know.
You did save a city from a horde of rampaging Kunari.
I don't see how that really applies. Or is there a horde of rampaging Kunari I don't know about?
There's a Kunari. He almost qualifies as a horde all by himself. Fortunately, he's on our side.
So then, what can I tell you?
Varric said that you fought Corypheus before.
Fought and killed. The Grey Wardens were holding him, and he somehow used his connection to the Darkspawn to influence them.
Corypheus got into their heads, messed with their minds, turned them against each other.
If the Wardens have disappeared, they could have fallen under his control again.
Well, that's not good.
So Corypheus has the Venatori, the Red Templars, and now possibly the Wardens as well. Wonderful.
I didn't come this far just to give you bad news. I've got a friend in the Wardens. He was investigating something unrelated for me. His name is Stroud. The last time we spoke, he was worried about corruption in the Warden ranks. Since then, nothing.
Corypheus would certainly qualify as corruption in the ranks. Did your friend disappear with them?
No. He told me he'd be hiding in an old smuggler's cave near Crestwood.
I'm curious, what were you investigating?
If you didn't know about Corypheus, what were you doing with the Wardens?
The Templars in Kirkwall were using a strange form of lyrium. It was red. I'd hoped the Wardens could tell me more about it.
Corypheus had Templars with him at Haven. They looked like they'd been exposed to the lyrium you describe.
Hopefully my friend in the Wardens will know more.
It's worth a shot.
I'll take any lead I can get at the moment.
Good. I'll do whatever I can to help. Corypheus is my responsibility. I thought I'd killed him before. This time, I'll make sure of it. Inquisitor.
So you fought
You
Corypheus.
said you thought you killed Corypheus.
The Grey Wardens had him imprisoned. They used my father's blood in a ritual to seal Corypheus inside. But he could still reach out and influence the Warden's thoughts. He sent them after me. And I didn't just think I killed him. When the fight was done, he was dead on the ground. Maybe his tie to the Blight somehow brought him back. Or maybe it's old Tevinter magic. But he was dead. I swear it.
Yeah, that was what confused me too. And what has Varric told you, by the way? I don't want to repeat
I
anything.
assume Varric's been feeding you information about the Inquisition. What did he say about me?
Only good things, I promise. I was a little surprised, actually. Varric isn't one for religion in general, but he thinks highly of the Inquisition. I think the exact phrase was, has a good shot at fixing Blondie's mess.
Blondie. That reminds me, what happened to this?
I'd like to know more about Anders. What was he like?
Complicated. It's not like the minstrels make it out to be. He's not just a monster or a hero. Or maybe he's both. He was trying to change the world. He knew it couldn't happen peacefully.
So where you been, by the way?
Where did you go after the mages rebelled?
I heard the Chantry might be sending an exalted march to Kirkwall to put down the rebellion. I hoped that leaving would save lives and force the Divine to divide her forces to come after me. As it turned out, I needn't have bothered. All the circles started rising up, and the exalted march never came.
So why are you alone right
I
now?
heard you had family and friends in Kirkwall. Where are they now?
My brother's a Grey Warden. I had my friend Aveline take him as far from Orlais as possible. When all the Wardens started acting strangely, I had to keep my family safe. Meryl is helping elven refugees who were displaced by the war. I didn't want to take her away from that. Meryl's spent enough time fighting for her life with me.
Fair
We'll
enough.
talk later.
I'll meet you at Crestwood.
Oh boy. That'll need to be fixed. Okay, is there anything I'm... Well, that's the war room, definitely. Anything else I'm missing? Colin, apparently. I haven't talked to Colin. Har vi igen. So let's do that before we go to the war room.